Welcome, golf fans, pursuers of knowledge and the almighty dollar. This is your golf guru bringing you the RSM Classic. This is my best play show, below 7K, before the lock, all that. We've got so much to cover. We got to talk about ownership projections, weather. We got to also talk about something that I forgot to bring up is the difference of guys starting on Seaside versus Plantation. I'm going to tell you my prize picks for actually for the whole tournament. I went a little different route. And also, I've got my winners of the holiday giveaway. So with that said, let's do this. Okay, so first thing, PrizePicks.com. If you've not checked it out, go do so. And it's probably a really good week too because I've found a little glitch, and we're going to talk about that. But if you have not signed up yet, they will match you dollar for dollar up to your first 100. And all you got to do is put in my promo code Golf Guru, get you that free match up to $100, whatever that is. And if you don't know what this is a DFS kind of simplified way to also kind of diversify your money. And surely you pick a couple guys, you look at the owner or the projections that they are showing. You go over under. It could be fairways hit. It could be birdies. It could be fantasy score, which all that is what do they shoot for that round. Or what I did is actually go for what position they will finish in the tournament. And so here are my prize picks for you. I've got Webb Simpson finishing under 19.5. So technically he needs to, end up at 19th or better. Feel like he could pull that out. I got Seamus Power where he needs to get under 43.5. So I think he'll finish better than that. So we need him to finish, 43rd or better. You got Russ Henley, need him to finish under 25. So anything under or better, I actually think he should definitely top 10. And then here's the glitch. For whatever reason, they've got Mav McNeely in this player pool, and he is not playing in this tournament. I've checked multiple sources. I was trying to figure out why did I not talk about or look at Mav McNeely. And the reason why is, well, he's not in the tournament. So he should definitely finish over 45th. Now, I don't know how this is all going to shake out, but is their issue, their problem? And the way I look at it is I'm going to jump on that. And we'll see. But that is what I'm going with. So really, you're getting kind of a free pick on this one. And as long as these guys do the unders, we're good to go. All right. So again, check out Prize Picks. Put in those picks before they remove the Matt McNeely, because as soon as this gets out, I'm sure they're going to make the adjustment. And you'll get a free $100 match. Or if you put in 25, you get 25, so on and so forth. Okay. So I was running a little promo, a little holiday giveaway. And this was for my subscribers or anybody that subscribed recently and just told me who was going to win the RSM. And thank you. I think I had about almost 40 entries for that. And I put it in this random generator. And congrats to you folks. You've won $100. So SDP, Kit Kat Kitty, Tyler Denbo, Dick Pepe, and Jorge Chrisman. And if I mispronounced your name or whatever, I apologize. I will reach out to you through YouTube comments and, try to get your PayPal email address. So if you see this, hit me up and say, hey, here's my PayPal email address, and I will send you over the $100 ASAP. And again, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, because I don't think I'll be talking to you guys probably into the January timeframe. Sometime after, like I said, if QBE or the Hero, which the Hero's only got 20 guys in it, so I highly doubt there'll be any DFS there, maybe. And then the QB, that's kind of a team event. And again, so I'll keep my eyes. And if I do see something for DFS, I'll let you know. Maybe I'll do something from a betting side, but we'll see. Okay. Something I did not cover, and it kind of dawned on me last evening, that there is quite a bit of difference between Seaside and Plantation, the courses. And I didn't really talk a lot about it because they're going to play 3 rounds on Seaside if you make the cut. And they're only playing 1 round on Plantation, but there's something that is very instrumental in this. And so there's a couple different things, right? So from a showdown perspective, you're going to want to play guys on Plantation. There's so many more opportunities. It's a par 72. It's an easier track. You see these holes highlighted. Those are bare minimum really good birdie opportunities, right? So you got 4 par 5s, and they're all pretty short, very gettable. Eagle opportunities, birdie opportunities. You come off on this par 10, which guys, if you see here, there is water to the left. I would see guys trying to drive the green at 283. Now this yardage, they will actually be playing at 7,060 yards. So just a little over 7,000 yards. So this is what they've, I could pull up on a scorecard. But in short, you can see starting off, you got no water, some short par fours, these two par fours. There's a lot of opportunities for birdies on Plantation. And I couldn't find something that had the analysis, but I remember it juggered my brain that the guys that played Plantation, and teed off on there definitely had an advantage over the guys playing Seaside. Seaside is just a little bit of a tougher track, and as I mentioned, you have more par fives, more opportunities. So I open on that now. How you build your teams for the large DFS GBP, that's something that we're going to have to think about because there is weather coming. Now, Thursday right now looks very calm and should be good to go, but there is going to be wind kicking up right now. That is stating from Windfinder. We'll go look at that on Friday. So, with that said, you might want to pick guys that actually play. Let me think about the Seaside the first day on Thursday because that's the tougher track, and then they'll get Plantation on Friday when the wind starts blowing, which is an easier track. So, you could look at it another way. You could look at, well, I want the guys that go off on Plantation. They're going to get really low scores on Thursday because the conditions are well, and then just put the guys out that are going on Friday on Seaside and just let them manage that, even with a win. So probably the way that I'll lean from definitely from a showdown is not a shocker. I'm going to play all the guys on Plantation, and I learned that the hard way a couple of years ago. But I probably will lean still to the guys on Plantation going off on Thursday, and then go from that side, play Seaside on Friday. But I haven't really figured that out yet. But I just wanted to give you the heads up. You can go on the PGA Tour Tee Times to see the players. I might have them pull up. I could probably click on that real quick. But there is definitely an advantage, and that's all I want you to know is that even though it's only a Thursday Friday kind of thing we're talking about, there is an advantage. Plantation is a simpler course, more scoring opportunities. Okay. Last but not least, there is comp courses that I'll be looking at when I'm going through the value plays. I'm not going to go into detail on this, but for sure, Honda is probably your best comparable course. Again, referencing Seaside, Honda, Valspar, RBC, and the players are all Tiff Eagle Bermuda, so the exact same kind of greens that they'll be seeing here on Seaside. And then they're all probably good from a yardage. Some play a little tougher than others, but these are the comparable courses that I want to look at when I'm kind of doing that final check. All right, let's go do some analysis, ownership projections, weather. We'll do all that stuff, and then I'll get you guys out of here. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about, let's talk about weather because I think that's going to give you some understandings of some things that I've been looking at from the value play side. Again, you're going to want to use Windfinder, and you are going to want to pull up this St. Simons Sound. That is right next to the course, so you're going to get real good, accurate, weather forecast of the best that you're going to get. What we're going to want to focus on here, of course, today is Wednesday, but we're talking about tomorrow. And I already mentioned, looks real calm on Thursday. No issues whatsoever. Good weather, a little sun in the morning. But so you're good to go there. What looks interesting is when we get into Friday, Saturday, you're going to see, somewhere between 8 to 16 mile an hour steady wind. And then you're going to get gust up into around 21, 22. And then even, maybe even a little worse. It's going to be a steady wind from 14 to 15 miles an hour blowing, and then could gust up to around 25. So there is definitely going to be some wind. And then on Sunday, it kind of chills out a little bit, but funny enough, it's saying in the morning, it could gust up to 17 and then kind of calmer. I always kind of believe that the guys that go out in the morning do have a bit of an advantage. I always get, whenever I see this, seems like I get kind of tricked and then see that the winds pick up in the afternoon. So, but just keep an eye on the weather. I've already kind of went through and looked at guys that play well in the weather in the wind, that has kind of steered me a little bit on who are my favorite value plays. So just make that known. Okay, we're going to jump over to Fantasy National, and this is where we are going to see some deeper analysis on the guys that are low 7,000s down. And this is all going to be looking at DraftKings pricing. And also, we're going to be looking at 12 rounds of data, so our last 3 tournaments when we talk about the stroke gain model. And then also, there's no filters put on because I want all recent data. So that gives you kind of some background information. What we're looking at here is a mini model. You can see here, you got pricing, you got projected ownership, where they rank in my model. You got birdies gained, recent results over here, and tournament history. And with that said, the things that are most important that I think you got to put it in the fairway here. I'm not worried about distance. You need guys with good irons, good putters on Bermuda specifically. This 400 to 450, and again, this is all kind of talking about Seaside, that we want guys that do well there because there's 9 par fours on Seaside, and so they're gonna have to make some hay on those. And then the proximity that shows up over historical data is 150 to 175 on Seaside. Of course, there's going to be other shots coming in because there's some shorter holes, but I only got 5 areas I can look at, and that's the kind of the 5 key ones I like. The birdies gained over the last 3 tournaments or 12 rounds, and then I always mentioned this is some results. Okay, I am going to focus on guys that are 7,000 below, but I just wanted to pull and let you know Alex Smalley and Hayden Buckley, if you're at this range, are good plays, and that's all I wanted to state. So we'll kind of focus going forward from there. So I like Tom Hoagie. The putter is a problem with Tom, but if he gets a hot putter, we know he can do well. You could see his past results, made 2 out of the pass or 2 out of 5 cuts when he's played here. He is not someone I'm going to dive into, but I'm just letting you see that he could be a solid play from an analytics side, and he does make some birdies. Adam Hadwin, right? I mean, he's been showing up. Typically, Adam does pretty well on these shorter tracks. He didn't make my top 5, but I think he's also a solid play. Again, he's at 7,200. So, again, he's not below the 7,000 threshold. First guy that I'm really interested in is Chad Ramey. This is another Corn Ferry graduate. You can see he came out, did real well. He missed the cut at the Houston Open. Of course, he's never played this tournament. If we go click on Chad, we don't have a ton of data, but just some things that you can look at. So what I like, this is kind of a new view that they've added to Fantasy National. Right off the bat, for the stroke gain data and the information we have, he's over 70% driving accuracy. That's excellent. I'm happy with any guys that are over 60. Also, green and reg. Again, if you're over 60, you're doing pretty well. The putts per round is probably a negative. I like to see like 28 or below. But everything else looks pretty good. Again, we don't have a lot of information on him. But what we do have, we can kind of look at where he typically struggles. It's not so much tee to green. It could be with the putter. But what I thought was interesting, let me go back, is that, he did really well at Bermuda. That's on Bermuda greens. And I don't have his statistics on how he did putting, but that he gained 7 strokes was very interesting to me. I'm guessing he did pretty well on the Bermuda greens. He might have not, gained a ton, but he definitely probably gained. Shriners, that is also Bermuda greens, and not a bad comparable course. Guys go low there, but you can see he gained almost 2 strokes putting there. So just recently, if you just take the last 3 tournaments, there's some really good signs. I mean, Sanderson Farms, he's actually from Mississippi, played for, I believe, Mississippi State. And so, it was kind of interesting when he played there. I think I even picked him, definitely played him just because, I know he played that course a little bit. But that's really all the data from a stroke game. We can take a look way back again. He was probably an invite, sponsor invite back when he played here. Did pretty well. And that's a tough track, tee to green. So anyways, I like Chad Ramey. I think he's a solid play. I think his ownership won't be too high because he's still pretty new. But if you are down there, I think he's a great play. Denny McCarthy, I got him in here just to let you know. I already picked him in my top 15, but definitely play him. If you're down in this range, you can see projected ownership's pretty high there. He's been playing well, and this course fits him. I mean, you need to approach and putt, and he's been doing good with the driver. If you look at the last 3 tournaments, JJ Spawn, I put him in here. Been playing pretty well. He's really good off the tee. You can see his putting's been pretty well. Top 20 against this field. The approach is where he struggles, but also could be a good play. I mean, Lucas Glover, I think I talked to him a little bit on my pick show. I mean, he's kind of my brand. I like him on Showdown. He's also, if I think about it, I think he is playing Plantation to start on Thursday, and it's all going to come down to the putter. But he is very accurate, very good ball striker. You can see he makes birdies. Recent results have not been awesome, but of course he won the John Deere not too long ago, this past summer. But you can see every time he's played here, he's done real well. I mean, I think that's pretty well at T11, at T9, at T23 last year. So something about works pretty well. So I like Glover. He didn't make my top 5, but definitely someone I will sprinkle in. Brendan Steele, I already picked him. Also, go check out my pick show from yesterday. I talk a lot more about, but you can see, making a lot of birdies. kind of a little sporadic here from a 69 to a T2 to a cut, kind of a mix. But if you take those 5 tournaments overall, I'm pretty satisfied. He's made 4 out of 5 cuts. Played here 3 times, missed a cut the last 2 times, but a T20. But I'm not too worried about that. And you can see, a little above middle of the pack. You got 156 players in this field. I don't remember where Brendan Steele, if he's teeing off Plantation or Seaside, but I do like him. So Adam Schenk, definitely someone, like I said, I've been talking about him quite a bit. He's just been nipping. You can see from a putting perspective on Bermuda, he does amazing. I believe he was number 1 over the last 3 tournaments. Now, if you look at the last 24 rounds, he fell back a little bit, I think, but still, for that price tag, projected ownership, it's not that, you got a couple dings right here, but overall, tee to green, he's done very well. We'll go click on Adam. So you see driving accuracy at 60%. It's kind of like, kind of my threshold. He does have some pop in the bat. Greens and reg, putts, you can get it quick understand. But you can see on Bermuda, over his career, he has gained about a quarter stroke on the field when he's been on Bermuda, but he also going to handle himself in a wind. That was interesting to me. Again, there is going to be some wind. We look overall, last 3 tournaments, you can see just been really putting well and approach. And that's kind of the key 2 things I'm looking for is approach and putting. Yeah, you can't be hitting in the water, but I'm not too worried about that. If we look at where he's done some of his best work, some shorter tracks, Shriners, John Deere, Shriners is Bermuda, Valero's Bermuda, Sanderson Farms is Bermuda, Wells Fargo at Quail is Bermuda. The Amex is actually Bermuda, even though it's in California. Valspar is a good comparable course. That's Bermuda. There's RSM. He had a 23rd back in 2018. There's RBC back to Bermuda at Bermuda. Shriners. So long story short, he's done well on these kind of tracks, and I like him. He's going to make my top value plays. Nate Lashley's in here. I'm a Nate Lashley fan, but you can just see tournament history. He's played here 3 times. He's made the cut every time. Got, we'll just say a top 50 or better. What he does very well is he's a really good putter, and we can go look at it real quick so you can see. Driving accuracy, not the greatest, just a hair below. But you can see gains, I don't know, close to a half a stroke when he's against the field when he's playing on Bermuda. He could be a very good irons player. Now, that's kind of fallen off these last few tournaments, but you see the 3 tournaments before was gaining strokes on the field. You can see back at Sanderson Farms, that's Bermuda gained, over 8 strokes. So the putter has been, doing pretty well. Shriners gained 6 strokes with the putter. So if he can just, be decent off the tee, and I have seen him when he won the Rocket Mortgage. I've stated this multiple times. Hit some of the best iron shots I've ever seen. So, irons can come and go. And right now, over his last 3 tournaments, they, have not been on, but they could be something real simple that either on the course or on the range that he figures out. Next guy I'm looking at is Rory Sabatini, right? Of course, he won the silver medal at the Olympics. It's had pretty decent tournament history here, a T12, a T53. That's kind of a while back. So you could say a miscut 2018, but the others look pretty good. He missed a cut at Mayakoba, but had a T3 at Shriner. So it's kind of funny if you think about it. He's kind of on this cut T10, cut T3. So he's technically due to have a good finish if you go on this pattern that he's been on. Just shocked the world on that final day on Sunday where I think he shot a 61 over in Japan when he, like I said, came out of nowhere and won the silver medal. That's not why I'm picking him, and that's not why he's on the cover. Just kind of an overall, we just kind of take a step back, right? Driving accuracy is up there. Putts per round, 28. Green, and he can get super hot, which you've seen. Over life of his career, he's not typically that great of a putter, but he can handle himself in the wind, so that's a good thing. And then we kind of just looked at putter over the last, 4 or 5 turns, been hot, and that it's just if the irons are on or not. If the irons are on, he's scoring. That's when he's making. So it's kind of like every other. Literally, it's like a track all the way back to the Palmetto. He gained with the irons, lost, gain, lost, gain, lost, gain. So we're gonna guess at Mayakoba he lost, and he's due for a gain. But at Shriners he gained 10 strokes tee to green. So that was in October, and it's a very hit or miss. And then we look at where he won the Honda way back in 2011. But if I go through and just start looking at the courses, the comparables, RBC, he's had a good track record there. His latest would have been a 51st. a 21st back in 2020. We look at, I already mentioned the RSM. He had 12th in 2020. He's only had one miscut. That was in 2017. Other than that, he's made the cut every time. And again, it'd be great if these guys top 10, but really, I mean, you want 6 to 6 making it through, especially in a field of 156. Like I mentioned in my preview show, it's going to be, harder than typical to do that. There's Valspar. He's had an okay history there, but he missed a cut most recently. Had an 18th in 2019, a 5th. Again, I don't put a whole lot of stock when it's that far back, but just something to look at. The players. Recently, he had a 67th. His best showing was a 6. That was way back in 2015, but it's done pretty good. And the players, we've seen a lot of good guys just recently missed a cut at the players. What about WGC? That's not the one I want. What about Wyndham? Just most recently, back in August, he had a 10th. But, again, on a good comparable course, he's had some really good finishes. So, long story short, I like Sabatini. I'm going to be playing him more than these others. Vaughn Taylor, he should not be clicked, but he is someone that I wanted to mention. He also has an early tee time on Plantation side on Thursday. So somebody might want to look at, I think, you can kind of see tournament history here has been a T10, a T8, a T30, but with a couple of miscuts sprinkled in. And then in recent forms can, kind of on and off. Let me just go look because he did get me a top 10 that paid off. Overall, short off the tee, but he's very accurate. So that's something we want. Green to right, pretty good. He does gain on Bermuda. Okay in wind. Can handle himself. We'll just say that. And then, actually, let me do this. So maybe it was, Valspar, which is a good comparable. He had a 6th place. So I like Vaughn Taylor. I mean, he's been around forever, but I think it fits him. Camilo Villegas, he's had some good results here. And when I think of a guy that you need, almost like a Nate Lashley, can be very good with the irons, can get very streaky hot, but he's good on Bermuda. You can go click on and see what he's done. So driving accuracy is a little but like I said, the iron's pretty good. But you can see over his career, which has been a pretty long career, he has gained on Bermuda and he can play in the wind. And if I click on this, he's won the Wyndham, he's won the Honda. Again, this is way back. Had a second at RSM back in 2016. There's the Honda again. I mentioned he's been around for a while. At one time was a very elite player. I believe he won a major. I forgot which one it was now, but I'd have to go through. Again, the Honda just recently, back in March, he had an 8th. RBC, that's a while ago. Valspar back in May, he had an 11th. So a lot of things kind of point me in the direction of Camilo. I think he's a solid play, and I also think he's teeing off Thursday on Plantation. Davis Riley, again, this is, let me think about this. I'm trying to remember. He is, I think he's, a Korn Ferry graduate. I'm pretty sure. Let me just, so he's played in a little bit, but so he came out the corner. I knew that. I just wanted to kind of verify. All right, Davis Riley. I think he could be a solid play for you. You can see gains on Bermuda, can play in the wind. He's made a lot of birdies. Probably a pretty good showdown play for you. Recent results, made 3 cuts out of 5, and he's played here once and had a 76, which I don't know if that actually made the cut. It doesn't say miscuts. I don't know if that was where they still had the 3 cuts, but maybe that was enough to get him through. Hank Loboda actually is going to be one of my top plays. And, Hank Loboda has been so off and on. And you see ownership projections not that high. I think a lot of this makes him nervous, but it's good to see that T15. He has had a pretty decent course history here. Let's go click on Hammer and Hank. So driving accuracy, 62. Putts per round, so, kind of similar to what we've been seeing. Over his life, it doesn't show that he gains on Bermuda. Can handle the wind okay. But this is what was most interesting for me, is that at the Houston Open, which is Bermuda, he finally started putting again. So he kind of got in a little putting slump. You can see here back from the Travelers, a 5th, a 4th, and 8th. And then he went on this miscut run, which it looks like the driver just went wayward on him. And then he got back and, even the driver still wasn't great, but he hit the irons well and he putted well. That's a good combination here. So hopefully we get to off the tee is okay. He might go down to like three woods irons, but approach and putting is what I'm looking for these guys. And Hammer Hank for that price tag, I think is pretty good. Hudson Swafford, right? I mean, he's been on a pretty solid run. You know, he's my doppelganger of Harris English. You can see tee to green, good. It's just, does he have that breakthrough with the putter? He's making cuts, you know, getting your in the 30s. It's played here, missed a cut the last couple times, but hasn't made it before that. Someone that you might want to consider was go look at Hudson real quick. So you see driving accuracy good. It's the putter that gets him. But he's had some sprinkles, right? He gained 6 strokes at the BMW, gained 4 at Sanders, so 0.4, 1 point. So it's been kind of on and off. Let me just see where he's done some of his damage. So, right, he does well on the island swing. We know that he had a good showing at Palmetto. Kind of backed into that a little bit, but still, that's Bermuda greens. The Amex is Bermuda greens. I believe that'd be past Palm, but very close to Bermuda. Yeah. Anyways, I think Hudson's a solid play down here. Vincent Whaley, see, makes a ton of birdies. Just hopefully keeps the bogeys down. Good putter. He's been playing pretty decent. You know, made a lot of cuts in a row. Had that T7 at the Bermuda. Played Hero twice. Made the cut once. Missed the cut last year. But I think it's a solid player for you. Someone else to check out. Chasen Hadley. You know, even though the model doesn't really say so, I just think this is a good Chasen Hadley course. And we go click on Chasen. The driver can get a little off, but you can see gains on Bermuda. Good putter. That's kind of one of his strengths, and can play in the wind. So that was the two things that kind of really piqued my interest. Of course, the Palmetto recently just kind of, I just mentioned with Hudson, he just fell apart at the end there last, you know, on our last 9 holes at the Palmetto. Won the Puerto Rico, did well at Sanderson Farms. That's Bermuda. You know, the Bolero shows up. Shriners, not a bad comparable. RBC. So I think Chesson Hadley could be a good play. And then Matt Jones is interesting me. And you're going to see that, you know, this isn't telling the picture that you want to see. But what do I know about Matt Jones, right? So he just won the Honda, which is the #1 comparable course. The guy is amazing in the win. He's an Australian. His tournament history, you know, has made the cut 4 out of the 5 times. Again, at 6,900, I think it's a pretty good price. And like I said, he had the 18th at the Zozo, the 27th at Shriners. Let's go take a little deeper dive. So driving accuracy is where we can get an issue. He's actually got some distance. But as I said, he does gain on Bermuda, can play in the wind, gains over a half stroke in the wind against the field. And there is going to be wind. So if we take a look, where has he done some of his best work? So I mentioned the Honda, the Shell, that's Bermuda. That's so long ago. That's technically the Houston Open. WGC St. Jude, API. So these are all Bermuda. At a 4th at Bermuda in 2020. Let's go look at his best showings. Just trying to see here. So there's his win at the Honda here this past spring. And he had a showing at the Sony, RSM. So yeah, again, for the price tag, I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he could be a nice little play down here. Last but not least, I just picked Martin Trainer. I mean, he's at Bear Men. The guy just put together, he shot 265 Thursday, Friday, where everybody else was all over the map. And so all I'm saying is he might have found something. You can see the putter. If we go click on him, you know, usually I would never mention Martin Trainer, but I'm purely going on that, hey, he put a solid tee to green and gained 7 strokes with the putter on Bermuda. So you can see all the miscuts, but I would be remiss if I didn't say, hey, for Bear Men price to take a flyer, I wouldn't say you want to put all your lineups with Martin Trainer, but it could be an okay play. And you can see people there's no ownership on them. So, okay, let's talk about ownership projections over at Fantasy National. Just to give you a little background, this is people picking their favorite players within Fantasy National, but really we're looking at the people that make the generated lineups. That gives you probably the closest, which will be over here. And I've kind of filtered it to give us the most chalkiest and working our way down. Highest owned. And funny enough, the top 4 guys that I liked, actually my top 5, are 5 out of 6 most chalkiest. So the only one I was not on is Scotty Scheffler. So that's kind of what I'm going to do. So you can just kind of see Connor, Smith, Henley, Simpson are your top chalkiest guys. Then Scheffler, and then followed by Damon. Then next is Adam Scott. And then what we're going to look at, I'm just curious for me, is the guys that I picked, where their ownership is. But you can look at the other guys you can see here. So Denny McCarthy's at 13%, Brendan Todd's at 12%, Chris Kirk's at 10%, Seamus Powers at 10%, Alex Smalley's at 10%, Adam Long's at 9%. So it's kind of interesting. Chad Ramey at 7%, Robert Straub at almost 7%. And then we get down to Sabatini at 4%, Hank Laboda at 4%, Kazire at 3%. That's going to be interesting if he could actually pull it out. That'd be a nice contrarian play. Brendan Steele at 3%, Michael Thompson, the guy that I'm high on. Hopefully he can do what I'm seeing. He's less than 3%. Adam Schenk is at 2%. And Matt Jones is at 0.3. So if he does well, could also be a nice little contrarian play there. And then that's it. All the rest are at zeros. Just a total side note. Davis Love actually was kind of the first PGA guy to move to Simmons Island, and kind of got the whole tour to go there. Got some players that moved there. And long story short, the guy knows the course in and out. Is of course a success there in the past. I think he's 1,000 to 1 to win. So I actually threw like a very small bet on him, just because hey, it's a course that he could still do well at. So total side note: if you are looking for someone to play also at Bear Men, it would not shock me if Davis Love makes the cut. So just a side note. Okay, that gives you the ownership projections. With that, let's go wrap this up. Okay, so my top 5 value plays for the RSM Classic are as follows. I'm going with Matt Jones. Of course, he won the Honda here not too long ago. Can play in the wind. He's an Australian guy and has done pretty well putting on Bermuda. So I like him. Sabatini, of course, your silver medal winner at the Olympics. Showed good form. Can get super hot too and has that kind of game that could get around this track. Hank Laboda, this one's probably a little riskier just because he's been kind of off and on. Either he's top 10 or better, or that he went with like 5 miscuts, but he did have the good showing at the Houston. That is Bermuda Greens, hoping that he got back the putter and keeps it in the fairway. And then one of our Corn Ferry stars, Chad Ramey, just, everything I've been seeing from him, looks like he could have a nice showing here, and definitely plugging him into play. And last but not least, Adam Schenk has had that over the last 3 tournaments, leading putting on Bermuda, and has been playing well tee to green. So I'm kind of thinking he's a great value play for the price tag he's at, and ownership's not that high in him. He's been dipping for a win, so maybe it's here. All right. With that said, I want to thank you again for spending some time with me. Congrats to all the winners of the holiday giveaway. Again, I'll reach out to you today on YouTube comments to get your PayPal email address. And if you do me the honor, again, always click that like button if you like what I'm doing. Share it with anybody else that you think might. If you've not subscribed and you're watching this and you made it this far, please hit that subscribe button. 3 shows a week. We're going to be on a little down for the next month and a half, but as soon as the new year kicks up with the Tournament of Champions, I will be all over it. And follow me on Twitter at DFS Golf Guru to keep up with any cuts or anything that's going on with the tournament. I will post those out. All right, guys. If I don't talk to you beforehand, have a happy holiday and best of luck with us at the RSM. Hopefully we have a good ending to the year. All right, talk to you guys later.